Sierra, you want to stand right? Sierra, you want to stand right here? You want to stand on the side so you balance it out? Okay. Good morning. If everybody's ready, we will proceed. Do we have Kleenexes? Tony, can you get us some Kleenexes? I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Natalie Jackson and Attorney Kamari Williams and Divine Smith. We have the honor of representing the family of Jaem Williams. Present with us today is the mother of his children, Miss Brianna Bermudez, his mother, Miss Keisha Rowe, and his girlfriend, who he cohabitated with at the time of this tragedy, Miss Sierra Rose, and other family members and supporters. But his immediate next of kins will address you in this just heartbreaking tragedy, this one that just shocks the conscience. And again, we are here just like we were yesterday, asking for full transparency, asking that the truth be told so we can make sure we get justice. Not just partial justice, not just 3/5 justice, but full justice. We want criminal culpability of this. I don't even know if you can call him a vigilante, because Jaem wasn't doing anything wrong. This person who thought he had a right to impose his will or his code of ethics and policy on the people who live adjacent to that apartment complex, Bay Point Apartments. We want to make sure there's full justice and accountability in the civil side. We understand that he was a maintenance man for Bay Point Apartments, and based on what people have told the family who lived there, he had a tendency to try to intimidate people from riding on their ATVs in the lot that was next to the apartment complex, the field. And people did it on a regular basis, and he kept threatening them, would call the police, and I guess the witnesses and the neighbors said he threatened that if the police wasn't going to do anything about it, he was going to handle it. And I guess that meant handling it, that Keisha Rose's son.
Oh Lord, my baby.
This is very emotional. I guess him handling the situation meant that he waited for Jaem to come riding on the ATV, and he took the gun out of the office of the apartment complex and went and shot him in cold blood. And then, as I understand it, Brianna, he went back, Sierra, into the apartment office where apparently an acquaintance, they said his girlfriend or someone was there, and he just waited as if there was nothing wrong that he had did, even though he had just shot this hard-working father of 3. And so that's why we're just shocked that this could happen, and that the apartment complex hasn't tried to reach out to the family or anything to talk about what they did in this situation, whether there was a policy in place, what was the response when he threatened other tenants about riding an ATV in the open field, which they had every legal right to do. It wasn't like they were trespassing or breaking a law. But this individual thought that he had a right to impose his will to say that these individuals, and most of them were young black men and women, that he had a problem with them. And so this white man took the law into his own hands and killed this young black father. And we are going to make sure that he gets full justice, because he did not deserve to be taken from this earth like this. He did not deserve it. You're going to hear from, first, his mother, and obviously this was her baby boy. So, you know, they say there's no stronger bond than a mother and a son. This was her baby boy, Jaem Williams, who was doing all the right things. She's going to speak to you from the heart, and then you hear from his girlfriend, who he lived with at the time of this tragedy in the townhouse adjacent to the apartment complex, Miss Sierra Rose. And then the final person you will hear from is the mother of his 3 children, ages 6, 4, and 1. Brianna Bermudez, who's going to talk to you about just how difficult this is for his children, and how she still is having problems trying to deal with it herself, much less try to explain it to children when they ask, where's their father? And so this is what we're dealing with this morning, and so they'll try as best they can to speak to you, even though they know it's going to be emotional. First, we will have his mother, Miss Keisha Rowe. Yeah, we can step closer. Yeah.
My name is Keisha Rowe McNeil. I'm married. And Jaem Deshaun Williams is my baby son. I have 4 kids. And on that day, I received a call from Brianna saying that they believe Jaem was shot. So I got there, and I'm the one that witnessed my son lying in the blood on the ground dead. My son didn't deserve this. He didn't do anything. My son was so happy. He was the jokester. Both of us was, we goofy. Our family know that. And literally, I see him on the 19th, and we was talking. This should not be my son. I shouldn't have to bury my son. I shouldn't have to be in this place right now talking to you to bury my son. But I declare justice for Jaem Deshaun Williams. I want justice for my baby, because it should not be this way.
Yes, ma'am. Justice for Jaem.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, Jesus. Oh, God, God, God. God, 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 God.
Okay. Let's try it.
Oh, I just love him. Oh my gosh, he meant so much to everybody. He meant so much to everybody. This year was our year. This was our year. We was in an accident. We were in an accident. I was in a brain injury. He was in the car accident with me. He had broken ribs. He stayed the whole time. Things were just going so good. Oh.
Can you tell about him driving the ATV? And,
We did that every day. Him and Aiden did it every day. We went this way every single day. Every day for 7 months. It's been 7 months. We've done it every day. Every single day. Him and the kids were always on the four-wheelers. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm angry.
Can this individual who killed him, did the witnesses and the people who lived in
Nothing
the apartment?
good. You know, nothing good. This isn't the first time that it happened. It's not the first time that it happened. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, oh, he went to, he was gonna shoot kids and just, what in the world? Like this man, oh, Lord.
Thank you. And finally, before we take your questions, you will hear from the mother of his children, Brianna. Take your time, Brianna.
My name is Brianna Bermudez. I'm the mother of Jakeem's 3 children. My kids are Jayshawn Williams, he's 6 years old, Josiah Williams, she's 4 years old, and Jakeem Williams, he's 11 months old. Our baby took his first steps the day after his dad's passing, and he never got to witness that moment. He was an amazing father. He always showed up for his kids. He always showed up for his kids. He never missed a moment. And the hardest thing that I have to do is answer my kids when they say they know Daddy's an angel, but they want to know when angels come back. And I don't know what to tell my 6-year-old son when he asks, how did Daddy die? Why isn't Daddy here anymore? Because these are questions that I don't have the answer to. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and his life was wrongfully taken. How do you explain that to the kids?
Thank you. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you. We'll take your questions now if you have any.
You're talking about, wanting full justice, full transparency, accountability. What does that look like to this family?
Well, first of all, they want to know what did the owners of the apartment complex do when he harassed the tenants and the other ATV I guess.
The boys out there with the bikes.
Yeah.
Like
Riders.
Right, yeah.
When these ATV riders and the dirt bike riders would come in the field and he threatened them before, what did they do? Did they tell him that it was okay to threaten them and assault and batter them and use deadly force, or did they tell him he could not do that? Because, I mean, if you take what the neighbors told Sierra and Miss Rowe, he came out there with the gun, he was waiting for him, shot him, and then went right back in the office. That the gun was there in the office. And so we want to know what's true and what is the things that you hear people saying. The only way we can get to truth and justice here is everybody show everything that they know about this situation. They got to lay bare the true facts of why this young man is dead. And if he had been threatening them before and they did nothing about it, then Jakeem's blood is on their hands too. We know he must be convicted of first-degree murder because there are too many people who heard about the threats that he was making to these young black boys and these young black men about, you can't ride in my field. The question is, who else has accountability in this matter? And that's what we're seeking here today. Yes, sir.
Do you think that should be classified as a hate crime?
You know, we are trying to find out all the information because I'm not sure if there were black riders, white riders, and everything, but I know he was going against the riders. Yes, sir.
You mentioned police have been out there before. Can you talk more about that?
But based on what we hear from the neighbors and the witnesses coming forward, that this was not the first time that he had threatened people and that the police had to be called.
And then talk to management about it too.
I would imagine so. I don't think the police. Yeah, we're trying to investigate everything, but the witnesses, you know, they told the family they knew something like this was going to happen. They said he was a problem. He was a hothead.
Sierra, could you talk more about that if you've been fearful of him in the past?
No, I don't even know who he was. This is my first time seeing him. I've been there 6 years. Never knew who this dude was. Never been no problems. We've been riding the four-wheelers that whole path for 7 months. 7 months, and never even knew this dude. Never knew his name. Didn't know what he looked like.
And so I think it's important, Sierra, for you to talk about the fact that you had talked to the police about riding in the field.
They told us it was not street legal. So they told us we could ride over there on that little path. It was not a problem. And the boys out there were riding their ATVs too. They stay in that apartment complex. And it's like, I just don't understand. Like, we've been doing that for 7 months. 7 months. 7 months we've been doing that. And even cops were out there waving, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were able to ride that. It wasn't on the street. We weren't doing donuts in people's yards. We were just being respectful, you know what I'm saying? Just riding our ATVs.
In the field.
In the field, behind their apartments. It's not even on the front street. It's not going through their driveways. It's in the back. It's a whole little circle in the back. And it's like, I don't understand.
Has management cooperated with you?
I'm sorry?
Has management been cooperative?
Okay.
We've sent a letter to the management asking them to make sure to preserve anything that they have, videos. We usually give them 30 days to do that, so we're hoping that they will be cooperative with us in that endeavor. And just to address whether or not this is a hate crime, that's one of the things we'll investigate. It's really important. This crime reminds us much of the Jordan Davis shooting that happened in Jacksonville because of the noise. So we want to make sure that we're doing a full investigation. This family wants to know everything. They want to know who to hold accountable and why this happened. You know, was it because of noise? Was it because, you know, someone who was mentally unstable was provoked by noise? Or was there something more sinister? That is the thing that we'll be looking into.
And that's a very profound point that Attorney Jackson makes, because that's what he kept saying. They keep making all this noise. I'm not going to let them keep making all this noise in my apartment complex. Are there any further questions?
Could you talk to us a little bit more about what Jaem was like and
What kind of
a memory
father?
that sticks with you the most?
He was funny. He was a very funny man. You couldn't be in a room with him and not laugh. He was very humble. He was very loving. His baby girl was his everything. My favorite memory of him is definitely riding that ATV. He loved riding that ATV, and he loved sharing that experience with his kids.
Is there some memory that the children have been talking about?
Jay Sean's birthday one year, they went to Munster Jam together, him and Josiah. Jack wasn't born at the time. And this year, tomorrow, on Saturday, we had already bought the tickets. He was supposed to go to Munster Jam with his son because the first time they didn't get to go up close and see the Munster truck.
Thank you so much. Ms. Keisha, do you have a memory of your son before we...
The day before Jaem was killed, he was at the house. And he came, of course, we always sit and talk. But the main thing that me and him shared was the laughter. Me and him just laughed. We laughed so much. And Jock was so, and we called him Jock, old man Jock, because my son was slow about everything. with his siblings. He was the only one that did not get disciplined because he did not. Jock was not a troublemaker. He never even got in a fight with his own siblings. And we would just laugh. That was our love language. We laughed so much in that day that we laughed so hard. And he asked me, Mom, what's your next car? Because I want to buy it. And of course I said, oh, I was looking at the Genesis or the Cadillac. And I was like, but no, let's get land so that we can all be on the land together. And he went back in the kitchen because I was cooking blue crabs and in the kitchen, and literally, Jaem has a distinguished laugh that we all, it's so goofy. And me and my daughter and Priya, his sister, we laughed so hard. And he sat down and literally I got to embrace him. Of course, I pray with my kids all the time. And we prayed, and then he said, Ma, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. And I said, okay, cool. And I heard his voice on the 20th because he was talking to my nephew, Marquise. And he was encouraging. Jaem loved to encourage and be positive. And truly, he was encouraging my nephew, Marquise, hold his head up. Everything is going to be okay. And I heard his laugh for the last time. And I got the call at 3 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Keisha. We will continue to keep you all updated. Please ask the questions too, as the media. You all have tremendous power to help get to the truth of the matter. It's not just about him being convicted in the criminal courts, but it's about full justice to prevent these things from happening over and over again in our society. And as Black people, we often see that people are allowed to get away with things when it affects our lives versus other people's lives. We love our children just as much as anybody loved their children. If this was your child that it happened to, wouldn't you too want full accountability? Wouldn't you want everybody to be held accountable that had anything in any way to do with this tragedy? Because at some point, his children are going to grow up and they're going to ask us, what did y'all do when he killed my daddy? And I want everybody to be able to stand up as a community and say, we stood up for justice. We stood up for accountability. And so his death won't be in vain, and his children will know. Justice for Jaem Williams. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's Tina Wilson and Ty Wilson, who've been standing with the family to get justice, wants to announce what the community is doing.
Juneteenth Project Coalition, we do have a petition that's circulating at change.org, Justice for Jaem. We do have a justice rally today at 4 in front of the Bay Point Apartments. It's a very peaceful rally. We want the late and great Jaem Deshaun Williams to not just be another death at the hands of just, we don't even know what to call it. That's just how appalled we are as parents. Me being the victim of gun violence in the past, I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of no accountability. If we sit back and not say or do anything as a community, then this will continue. This will continue because we're so afraid that if you're riding a bicycle and you're making too much noise or laughing too hard, you could be gunned down. We do have a problem with the justice system as it is. We don't want Monique Worrell to take the death penalty off the table. We don't want this to just be a continuation of appeals and this and that. We want it done right the first time. We want to get this thing swift justice, as swiftly as he walked out of that office and gunned him down. and he's shot in a residential area. Anyone could have been hit by the result of his shooting. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think we would be remiss if we did not thank the police who worked in so hard to arrest him, and thank Monique Royal's office who swiftly charged this case. So we do want to thank them for swift justice as far as the arrest and the charges on this case.
And as soon as we get funeral details, we will release them to the media. And also, if you go to press at bencrump.com, for those who don't have photos of Jakeem Williams, we will get them to you.
Can we get the spelling of everyone's name?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Brianna Bermudez, Briana Bermudez, Bermudez.
Keisha, KeishaRolle-McNeal.
Sierra Rose, SIERRA ROSE.
Juneteenth Project Coalition, Tina, TINA, WILSON, and Ty, TYWILSON. Thank you.
Okay. And she's going to spell the children's names.
Jayshawn Williams, JA'SHUN Williams, he's 6. Josiah Williams, JA'ZYA Williams, she's 4. And Jakeem Williams, JA'KEEM Williams, and he's 11 months old.
Thank you all very much.
and if you need a picture of him, we've sent it to press, PRESS at Ben Crump, and they will get you the picture. Or if you want a picture of this one right here. Hey, can I have the billboard? Oh, so you can just take this picture.